All right, be real with me. When you think about selling your soul, do you think, like, it's the first thing that comes to your mind, like devil worshiping, the celebrity that, has this crazy amount of fame out of nowhere and they're blowing up and, somebody close to them dies and, that's called a sacrifice, or, they do something completely ridiculous and then, we call that a humiliation ritual. But in the grand scheme of it, like they're gaining a monetary prize, I guess you can say, at the end of it, because they sold their soul. They did all of this stuff to gain these riches and be able to eat and sit with the who's and things of that nature. I used to think like that. I thought that was like the only way that you can sell your soul. But nah, there's plenty of different ways that you can sell your soul. And like, for example, let's go with a prostitute. Okay? A lot of people would think prostitutes are women that have sold their souls, because these are lost women. These are women that are out here sleeping with men for money. These are women that, just have no real value in themselves. They're lost individuals. But I believe that while that person is lost in that moment, who's to say that that person can't be like, yeah, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. I need to change my life around. And then they give their life to God, or whoever they decide to worship, because there are many gods that people can choose to worship. But they do that. And then they start preaching or becoming a motivational speaker and telling other young girls or young adults or whatever, telling their story to convince them to not engage in that lifestyle. Like, this is not what you want to be doing, and trying to save them. You can look at it like that. Or look at the lady Lily Phillips, the porn star who had sex with like 100 guys in 24 hours or something crazy like that. I feel like she can be looked at as somebody that has sold her soul, because she is pushing. She's making this shit into challenges to sleep with all these different guys. But I feel like she is fighting with another entity inside of her body, because in that one video, like when the guy was asking her questions and she said something along the lines of she felt terrible when the guy had said he had like 2 minutes left or something like that. Like, she felt like really bad about herself. She started to tear up. That's how I know, like, there's a human in there. Like, you're fighting, but she turns around and decides to up the ante to like 1,000 men and 12. I don't know, something crazy like that. But somebody like a lady like that, you can look at. It's like you can see that light and dark is on this planet, and that you can see who's ruling right now. But the light, we're trying to fight back. And it's like we don't have a dog in the fight. But if you haven't seen a Sinners movie, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but I'm not going to spoil it. So, earlier today, there's this girl that I follow on Instagram. And I know her because I was cool with her sister, and she's like now a rapper or something like that. But she does the typical Sexy Red type lyrics, that type of image, but it's just like really bad and it's like really low quality. It looks horrible. So that lets me know that Sexy Red in them was successful. That entity was successful in promoting the message through their music. But anyways, in the movie, the main character, he is a blues player. He loves playing the blues. And the blues, I didn't grow up listening to that. I didn't grow up in that era, obviously. But it's like low vibrational type of music. It's there. You speak of people's pain through blues, and that's low. That lowers the people's vibration, but you're telling a story at the same time. And the vampires, they smelled that, so they're like, oh, this is somebody, we can use him. We can use him. We can use him to spread our message, and we're going to stay around. So that's what they did. I don't want to give too much of the movie, but y'all, I just wanted to point that part out right there, because that lady is an example of what I think is selling your soul, a form of selling your soul, because you're out there, you're bending it over, you're talking about taking other women's men, you're talking about dudes eating your butt. You're talking about, you know, guys paying you for sex. You're pushing that image out. And then you're going to clubs, you're doing these events, and you're spreading that message. And people are becoming influenced by it, especially like younger girls. They're becoming influenced by that. So congratulations, like you did a good job of being controlled by whatever parasite that is on your back right now. And that is how the enemy is able to live on, through using other people that are easily able to that have cracks, I guess. They have cracks, because if you're pushing that message out there, just like drill music, you're pushing that message out there in that vibration, you're encouraging violence. You're encouraging the disrespect of black men and women, or the killing of police officers. You're pushing that message. So if you're pushing that message for it to be widespread in the form of music, don't you think those people are selling their souls? And those of you that play into that, y'all are falling victim to the enemy also, especially if you're being influenced by it. Something to think about. It's really something to think about. Like, I really pay attention to the music that I listen to. Like, yeah, I like to listen to my Future or whatever, but that is not something that I'm listening to all the time and I'm mirroring my life. I'm you know, trying to be one of the baddies, and I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to spread the truth. I want to spread like a positive message. Like, that is my goal ever in life, because I'm not able to be controlled. I'm no longer able to be controlled, because once upon a time that side did resonate with me long time ago, before I like started to like really see life for what it really is. That lifestyle resonated with me. Like, I'm always going to have love for my 2000s, my early 2000s music, but some of that, well, if you think about, like, it was like kind of derogatory in a way, but a lot of that music was like dance music, like having a good time. The feel of it was different. They weren't talking about killing niggas and stuff. You know, it was silly dance songs like the Soulja Boy. What songs did he have? He had the Batman, and you know, the Crank, that shit like that. Like, that's what we grew up listening to. There's no harm in that, but I'm pretty sure like it can be viewed as a low vibrational sound. I don't know, but the music today is really, like, you can tell, and that movie Center's really good. I think everybody should go check it out. There's so many messages within that movie. But it's so interesting that they they chose to use music, because music is extremely impactful, and you have to pay attention to what you're listening to. Me personally, I like listening to old school 90s music, and that may not be like better, but it is a lot better than what we're listening to today, because you know, it's love, it's a feeling of togetherness. They're not talking, well, they may be talking, I'm lying, they do be talking about cheating, but it's not like a dirty cheating, or you didn't hear too many of them calling women a bitch and stuff like that, things of that nature. It was just different back then, but you know, it could be looked at as a form of selling your soul. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think. Are you easily influenced by this music? What is your definition of selling your soul? Because I believe that people can be redeemed. I don't think like it's a wrap for everybody, but it's like we have to get more people pushing the message that we're not tolerating like this degenerate shit. We don't want to keep influencing that type of music in our culture. We don't want to have our young girls thinking that it's cool to like have sex with multiple guys and be cheating. Like, we don't want our girls thinking that. We don't want our men killing each other. We don't even want our young boys killing each other. So yeah, I guess that's like a food for thought for you guys to think about the next time like you decide to put on that King Von or whoever. I don't know. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.